Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Lexington, Kentucky as you make the drive down the long way here at the TheStable Sales Pavilion, one of the most beautiful spots to check out a horse sale, any event involving the equine athletes, as we welcome you into the 2024 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale.
That's my fault.
All right, we're going to come to the desk right about now. Anthony realizing that the delay is about 15 seconds on our phone or our computer. So, hey, we got to mute those. Anthony, how's it going?
My bad.
That's okay.
Things are good. You know, we've had a great summer. It's just been a whirlwind. You know, you land here. It would be so nice if we could just take a couple of minutes just to, you know, when we go out to dinner, it's the only time that we really have as a group to just catch our breath and try to absorb, but you can't possibly absorb everything that's going on in Lexington, Kentucky at the sale. It is absolutely impossible. And we have a lot of people here. I mean, we went out to dinner last night. We had 15 people with us. We walked into one of the consignments today, and the guy said, "Wow, you got quite the crowd with you." We had like 17 or 18 people with us that are walking around. I love it. I love the you know, the atmosphere when everybody is here, and a lot of the people are here for the first time. Yeah. Some of the people are here trying to do their own thing, but at the same time trying to see what we're doing and how we're doing it. It's just it's a great mix, and you know, this is what I love about the stable, is having so many people involved at once. It isn't just, you know, you do a video and send it out and then you're done with it. You know, you truly have to be interactive with everybody, and this is a real cool time. I hope we get to a point where we have 30, 40, 50 people coming with us. But for now, the crowds are definitely growing from last year, that's for sure.
Yeah, they are. I got here just around lunch hour, and when I caught up with you guys here as you were checking out the various consignments, you're right, you did have quite a crowd with you. Got to meet some new friends who are checking out the Lexington sale for the first time, and right away they're kind of blown away by, and I think the feedback I got is how accessible everything is here. And that's the one thing for a lot of the clients. I know we've done this now for 3-4 years, these live shows from Lexington, but if you haven't been here, you can, you know, there's lots going on in the days leading up, the preview days, checking out the various yearlings, but really, you know, you can just rub shoulders with anyone, right? Yeah. Exactly that.
You wouldn't be able to do that in any way, shape, or form with any other sport, that's for sure. And you know, it's so cool to see some of the people that you look up to, some of the people that you want to pick their brain, and it's a different place. You know, as you said, there's no other TheStable. You're not going to go to Harrisburg and find the same things. You're not going to go anywhere else on earth that I've been to anyway in a standardbred sale and have the same atmosphere, the same aura that Lexington does. It's just a very rare place, that's for sure.
And I want to give a big shout out to all the consigners, all the various breeding farms who are here, because as you can see, we've got their various hats on display. They always give us a lot of time, not only when we're shooting the videos, taking a look at their yearlings that they're going to be sending into the ring, but also just to chat about how things are going. And we'll have different guests in the next few days. We're here now right through Thursday. The sale will run through Friday night, and it's another marathon, which we always say each and every year, but here tonight, night one always comes with fireworks, and you can feel the atmosphere. The one thing I really noticed, how many people are already here. You know, it's just after 5 o'clock.
I was just thinking that too. I said the sale starts at 7. I'll just roll up and park, and it's full. Yeah, it's full here. People are still out milling around. I think it might be also because the Saturday or even the Sunday when people usually look, it was just pouring rain, just miserable. So I think a lot of people were just had it in their head they were gonna cram on Monday potentially, because you're right, there's a lot of people here for 2 hours before the sale, and it's Lexington. It's just it's the one time in the calendar. It's totally different from anything else that goes on in our industry, and it's a great time for sure.
And you mentioned about the weather, real poor weather, and sending our best to everybody that might have been affected by the hurricane. And I know it took out many parts, impacted lots of parts, and the rain that they had here over the end of last week through the weekend, just incredible. When did you get here into town? And I'm amazed because I got here today and everything's pretty much already dried up, and the weather looks pretty good for the rest of the week.
Yeah, so I'm not familiar if you know how the grass works, Mark, but when it's wet, it just really absorbs it. It's just how nature works.
Is that how it works? Yeah.
No, we actually had 2 of our clients that were from South Carolina.
Yep.
So they were trying to explain to everybody just the devastation that they went through. They said no power, no internet, no anything for 3 days. They get in their car and drove towards here, and it was just amazing hearing somebody explain devastation that isn't that far away.
Yeah.
And you never really get it, right? When I came down, I drove to Dayton. I was supposed to race Friday night in Dayton. Yeah. I get all the way to Dayton, and I pull in, and it's really windy, and it was raining really hard, but it didn't dawn on me, even me, I'm there in real time, it didn't dawn on me how hard it was raining and blowing until I looked, and there's no one on the racetrack. They literally had just canceled the races that minute. Okay. And I drove all the way back, and then came all the way back the next night, and it was raining again, but not nearly as hard as it was before. And then when I looked at everything that was going on, the rain that fell in Dayton was amazing, but it was paled in comparison to what happened in Florida and South Carolina and those places. It was just truly amazing. As I said, it didn't dawn on me, and I didn't soak it in until I heard our clients talking about it. And glad they're here with us, enjoying the sale. But at some point they have to return to what could be a disaster area for them.
Yeah, so again, sending our best to everybody. I know we got clients from all across North America, around the world. And if you are tuning in, we want you to leave us a comment. Let us know some of the yearlings that you've been looking at on those catalog pages or some of the videos leading up to tonight's opening session. Always good to hear the feedback from everybody that is catching up with us this week. As we look ahead to night number one, you and I were just talking before we came on air about the storylines this year. And last year, I know a lot of attention was going to the first crops of Pappy Rob Hanover and Tall Dark Stranger. They were highly anticipated this year. We've got some new stallions, as always, but you were mentioning that maybe the big storyline is the question mark around some of the stallions that maybe haven't lived up to the hype yet, or some that are performing well, but is that going to be sustainable?
And that's a great question. You never know. That's the weird thing about the sales, and I don't think people truly understand that. When you go to a sale, you really don't know what's going to happen. Sure, anybody can say, oh, the Captain Treacherous. Of course, he's an accomplished sire. He is going to take his market share the same as he always does. Pappy Rob Hanover had a fantastic last year, had a fantastic year last year, had some health issues himself at the end of the year. I don't know if that will affect the sales of these horses. No one knows. And when it comes to Tall Dark Stranger, I think it's fair to say, no, he didn't live up to any of the expectations people had of him, but that might be a little bit on expectations themselves. And then obviously when you ask the people that have been around a long time, they say, well, it's not that long ago that his father, Better's Delight, had a terrible first year, and people were dumping the brood mares that were in foal and everything else. And so you just never know if there's going to be a bounce back. People are saying, well, Green Shoe, he's going to lose a little bit this year. Green Shoe is one of the leading sires in North America right now, and people don't talk about it. Right? Does that mean that no one's going to talk about it in the sense with their wallets also in there tonight? No one knows. And for us, trying to find value and trying to be in the right place at the right time, and this is why I always try to make it as easy as I can. What we'll do is we'll probably price 70% of the horses on day one. The numbers that I and our clients are comfortable paying for those horses, and if those prices dip below that line, then theoretically those horses are in play. And it is day one Lexington. None of them may dip below those lines. No. I have no idea.
There's a good chance they probably won't. I'm curious to see if it will stay at the level it has been over the last few years. And I don't know if, the last couple of years I got here on day number one, and it felt like the anticipation was it's going to be fireworks. It's going to be nothing but six figures all across the board. We'll see if that's the same case tonight. Do you think it's just because it's night one, everyone's going to be just firing away?
That's a great question. Every year that's a question everybody asks, and nobody knows until after the sale. But it just seems to me like everybody, all the right people are here to do it. It just seems like some of them are subdued.
That's what I'm getting, yeah.
Yeah, it feels to me like everybody's going to be looking at the same horses, which opens up gigantic fissures in the sale where we may be able to exploit it, may be able to get a horse. And listen, we can talk about what a sale we may have, whether it's good or bad, but at the end of the day, no one knows and no one cares until next summer.
No.
The sale will be over eventually. We're going to bring these horses home, we're going to break them, train them down, race them next summer, and then at that point, we'll all be judged. So, and that even goes further to what I was saying about value. If we get the horses for the value we think we should for them, it should be fine training down. And that's the difference between what we do and other people do. Trainer X may bring his owners here and they have their sights set on 5 horses.
Yep.
And they're after those 5 horses, any one or all of those 5 horses. Well, we're here looking at 400 horses. We're going to price 400 horses and we're going to look at all them. And if we can get them for the price we want, then to me, value should drive the final decision on what we do with these horses.
I think over the last couple of days I was talking to our cameraman Cam, and he was mentioning to me that I think...
Wait.
Cam, I think, mentioned that he shot something like 70 horses already.
Oh yeah.
And you know, there's still 4 more days to go. So there's going to be quite a few that you have looked at, and just because we shot a video doesn't mean that you didn't look at the horse either.
I can tell you, we looked at, if we shot 70 videos, we looked at 170 horses, and you know, there's no shortage. It doesn't hurt to look, right?
Yeah.
It just falls under doing your due diligence. And whether you look at a horse and say, well, the pedigree is really strong, the horse looks good, that's not a horse for us. That doesn't mean you won't be able to acquire that horse. We've done it in the past, we'll do it in the future, and thousands of people before us have done the same thing. But it needs to be, for me, all these variables that we can't control mean nothing. It all comes down to a number you put on the horse and whether that's your horse or not, and that's all that matters to us.
I mentioned a little bit earlier about some of the first crops that'll be selling here.
Yep.
Is there any stallion that you're excited to see, or that from looking at their babies have been impressed by?
Well, listen, we looked at a lot of the Captain Corys. I thought they all looked really nice, and I'm a little biased because we have 5 broodmares that we bred to Captain Cory. So I'm cheering for him, that's for sure. I believe, you know, they look athletic, and really, if you ask any of the big trainers, you say, oh, he's shiny, he's big, he's strong, but you have to have an athlete. And when it comes to the Captain Corys that I saw, they come in all shapes and sizes, but they all look athletic, and that's a big thing in my mind.
Well, I'm just looking at the comment section here on the YouTube page. We'll check out the Facebook page in a little bit, but if you have any questions, something you want to ask, feel free to drop us a line. Let us know. Again, give us some feedback on who you might be looking at and who you're excited to see sell, but also if you have any questions for Anthony, he'll be here for a little bit longer. The sale's going to start tonight at 7 p.m., and I expect right off the hop, it should be pretty busy. You'll be paying attention, obviously, right from start to finish. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, though, you know, night one, I think we've talked in the past, and it's changed over the last couple of years, how active you're going to be. But looking at night one here, you don't have to obviously tell us who you're looking at, but, you know, ballpark, is there definitely several that are on the radar here this evening?
Oh, absolutely. I think I had done just a small video for some of our clients that are really paying attention and really active at the sale today. And I think there was 5 trotters and 1 pacer on my list that I was thoroughly interested in. 2 pacers, I suppose, but 1 more particular than the other. But when you break it right down, there's probably 20 trotters and 8 pacers that I'd happily hook a lead shank onto if I could. But it just, realistically speaking, I don't think that will happen. But you never know. Again, and this is what, you know, Steve and I joke about it, or Dan, or any of us. When you say you never know, it's because you really, truly never know. And I'm reading some of the comments too. I think a lot of them are on point. I know you had mentioned one from Chris earlier that I think he's probably bang on when he's talking about that particular horse. I think the chat page is cool. I'd like to look through it too. I didn't before, but until you had mentioned it. Yeah. But I think a lot of the people are paying attention, understand what we're trying to do here, and a lot of them are in lockstep with what we're trying to accomplish now. The one thing about Lexington that's also really cool is day 1 is awesome, but there's some really good horses on day 2 and day 3 also. And Amy and I were talking about that on the drive over. We did a video for our clients, and just a general video, and I was explaining to everybody that some of the most impressive horses we thought, that I just stopped and said, there could be a lot of value found with this particular animal, that was on day 2 or day 3. And in fact, one of my top picks of the entire sale on the trotting side is in the latter part of day 2, almost into day 3. And it's just a wide and very deep selection of horses, as it always is in Lexington.
Well, if you get a chance to go back through the comments, make sure you go right to the start, because there was a few people wondering if you knew when 5 o'clock was to be here.
You know, here's the thing, Mark. I was on time, and my GPS said 22 minutes here. But as you know,
yes, I came from the same location.
It's a solid 30, if not 35 from where we're at, which is fine. I mean, listen, if people are coming down here, it's Jamie's fault? Oh, yeah, no, it's just Jamie's fault.
We got Curtis behind the camera chiming in. It's funny that he knows where a microphone, because his comments actually would probably make the show.
That's correct. No, I wouldn't change it for the world, though. I know I was a little bit late, but the place we're staying at, I was telling Steve, you know, the entire experience of Lexington is cool, but we always stayed close to here. I know you guys really liked La Quinta last year, but we're staying at a much nicer spot this year, and out in a place out at a place called Fritz's Farm area.
Something like that.
Yeah, Summit,
right by the mall.
The Summit at Fritz's Farm. A beautiful spot. The hotels. The one thing I noticed, and I said to people, I'm fairly well traveled, but it's always the Marriott or the Hilton or you know, a brand something, you know, a Hampton Inn. But Lexington is cool in the sense that there's just so many of these smaller hotel names or brands, or just a hotel, and they're really, really, really nice. And I like the place we're staying. I like the entire area. I wish that we had just a day off, maybe, just to explore, but we both know that's not going to happen.
No, it's not, but there's quite a bit going on in that area. That's probably an area of Lexington I haven't really checked out all that too often. I've been here many, many times, and I'll tell you, Lexington's the only place you'll come, and doesn't matter what hotel you stay at, the artwork is horses. Does not matter where you stay.
We were just saying that the other day. I've stayed at 2 or 3 or 4 different hotels here, and it's all horse racing, right? Because like you're obviously heavily immersed in Keeneland now, and I haven't been to the Keeneland sale, but I assume it dwarfs this one quite a bit.
It's something.
And it is a horse town. When they say it is the hotbed of horse racing, they're not joking. It really is.
No, they're not. That's for sure. We're going to check out some of the horses that are going to be selling here at the 2024 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. We've shot some videos. We put some packages together. So why don't we pull up the first one of those right now, and we'll be back in a little bit.
Number 7, Buy Another, is one of those horses we probably can't afford. Right, her brother's got 800 made now, I think, in a market 51 buy around. Very, very nice horse. This is the sister by Chapter 7. She is New York and Kentucky and Maryland, I suppose, filly, and a really, really nice filly. Great family, smoke and mirrors in the second dam. Just a tremendous, tremendous family top to bottom. This filly looks amazing too. She is the perfect size. Truthfully, if you're going to say anything, she might be above average for Chapter 7. She's got a great head on her shoulders, and she has literally been out here 10 minutes and hasn't done a thing wrong. Just a sweet filly, but everybody's going to see this. This is number 7. This is one of the first horses in the ring at Lexington, and definitely a horse that's going to take a lot of attention. She certainly is from us, but we're not going to be the only ones. Number 7, Buy Another, selling early on day 1 in Lexington, Kentucky. Can you walk her down for me, sir, please? Did you look at that colt?
No.
Oh my God.
What's it by?
Mickey is my number 1 pick.
Mickey?
Yep. Okay. Aim. Okay. This is a Walner colt, New Jersey eligible only, and will need every bit of any value you can find in only a single jurisdiction to get this guy. What an Adonis. A gorgeous colt. No shock that he's early in the sale. This is the second foal from a Trixton mare. Her name was Princess Dio. I think that was Ben Bergeron's mare, if I'm not mistaken. Princess Dio, who is a sister to Queen Serene. Queen Serene was a very, very good horse, a world champion in her own right. Market 51 and 4 and 750,000 made life. This is an entire family of good horses. And it's no shock that this guy looks like this. He is gorgeous. April 24th foal, New Jersey eligible only. His name is Royal Flush Dio. A Walner colt selling very early on day number 1. This is the type of horse that would hopefully and possibly make up our premium type trotter, but he might blast well beyond that marker. Number 12, Royal Flush Dio, selling early on day number 1 here in Lexington, Kentucky. Can you walk him down for me, sir? We already, this is the second one. Number 13 is Crown the Queen. I almost didn't have to do this video. If there's one horse I'm certain is going to bring a fortune tonight, it is going to be Crown the Queen. Dual eligible, New Jersey, Kentucky, March 7th foal by Walner. Now she is out of a Trixton mare who's a sister to the Ice Duchess, but all that is cool. When you look at all the pedigree and all the speed and all the money, it's all really nice to look at, but you still got to look at this horse, and she is an amazing looking filly. She, as I just said to Amy, will likely bring a lot of money tonight. And again, we do the video simply because we want to show you what the horses are looking at, what we're looking at, and most importantly, you do never know. I mean, it would be unbelievably baffling to me if this filly somehow found her way to us, but I would definitely have a very large smile on my face if she did. What a beautiful filly this is. Just a gigantic animal, but put together well. Nice video. Everything looks nice about Crown the Queen, and the type of horse that most everybody at this sale, if you're looking at trotters, there's no doubt you looked at her. She is a beautiful, beautiful filly. Number 13, Crown the Queen. What a beautiful horse, eh? She is so... What's that? Now, we've been quietly talking behind the scenes. Obviously, we have a pacer to buy. We have a trotter to buy. We don't know who they're going to be. We're going to try the best, buy the best ones we can, the most value, even though they're going to be expensive horses. Number 22 is early in day number 1. And when you see this horse, this is an above-average Chapter 7 colt. He's New York and Kentucky, which isn't going to help us. He's above-average Chapter 7, which also is not going to help us. He's a brother to Baroness Hill and the first colt from this mare. And this mare is a sister to Manchego, and that definitely isn't going to help us. So a lot will have to go awry for Hanover Shoe Firms, and a lot will have to go in our direction for us to walk home with Spencer Hanover. But make no mistake, he could easily be our high-end trotter if we are given the opportunity. Number 22, Spencer Hanover, February 13th, Chapter 7 colt. Dual eligible, New York and Kentucky, selling here early on day number 1 in Lexington, Kentucky. Can you walk him down for me, dear? What do you think? Towed in? Yeah, lots of them are. Chapter 7s. Yes, they are. Plenty of them are. Can you pull his video up for me, Rob? So we have New York and Maryland eligible. So New York eligible, number 48, 7 wins. This is a Chapter 7 colt here at Winback Farms. He is a May 20th colt. Pretty good size Chapter 7 for a May 20th colt. And he is the brother to Tuscan Prince. Now Tuscan Prince may have put 271 on the board life, but pretty sure if you go back and watch his races, he squandered quite a bit of money getting pacey, making breaks, getting out of gear. And then in the second dam, you have Guccio and Lagerfeld. This is a really good family. Pretty nice colt, too. Really nice colt. I don't know if we'll be able to pick him up for what I think he's worth, but day 1, number 48, he should bring some good money. I'd like to scoop this guy up, maybe at a little bit of a discounted price. I don't know if that'll be possible at all, but 7 wins is a nice colt, and certainly a colt that we're watching as he goes through the ring tonight. I guess early enough, number 48 on day number 1. Can you walk him down for me, sir?
Go 3 minutes. When it gets under 1 minute, 2 minutes, I'll let you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to log in.
Yeah, I mean, I can bid.
I think your account will come up when I log in.
Exactly.
I can bid anyway. It's right here.
Yeah, I know, but you're busy.
That's a good thing. That's a good idea.
If we get swag from it.
I can probably get a half to last is.
I don't think it's going to go.
One more pacer here at Hanover. This is Tiago Hanover. Now, this is important. We don't know what's going to happen with the Tall Dark Strangers in the sale this year. Are people going to discount them? They had a terrible year. Now, Better's Delight had a terrible year. His first year as a sire. Tactical Landing's first year wasn't great, wasn't fantastic. Green Shoes was terrible, right? His first year. So, is everybody just going to double down on Tall Dark Stranger? Or are they going to turn the page? If they turn the page, putting a horse like this at number 49 is a disaster. And he will be greatly discounted. Now, if people go the other way and just say, you know what, this is a well-bred horse, first foal from Trillions Hanover, took a mark of 49, made $350,000 out of a sister to Lion Sentinel, and take it for value, for what it is, for what that horse is and should be and could be, well, then it won't matter because we're not going to be buying him. But if they go the other way and say, no, I don't want any Tall Dark Strangers, and then you put it on day 1, no one's looking. So So it could be a very, very interesting storyline here is what is going to happen? What are we going to do with Tall Dark Stranger? We will find out very, very soon. So with that, number 49, Tiago Hanover, February 25th, Tall Dark Stranger Colt, selling here on day number 1 in Lexington. Can you walk him for me?
Nice aerial view of Fasig-Tipton as we welcome you back on day number 1. Kelby, Anthony McDonald. Anthony, we just looked at some of the horses that are selling early on, I guess in the first half of today's session. A few of them you were mentioning to me, and you say it in the video right there, they are going to go for some pretty big money. You have to wonder what the sale topper might be this year. Any kind of guess?
I haven't looked closely. I can tell you I went through the horses I was interested in. Now, granted, when I'm saying I'm interested in a horse, I'm dreaming also, hey, what happens? Can we get this horse? So I didn't look at any of the ones that are going to be astronomically high. I can tell you one of the horses that impressed me the most was number 13 in person. Mm-hmm. I don't mind saying it because I doubt we'll even get her hand up when it comes to a horse like her. We would be very interested too. That's right, too. Yeah. Out of the Trickston mare. She was gigantic. Walner filly, dual eligible. She looked really, really good. But I'm sure there's a number of them. Like some of them I'll just pass over and say there's literally no shot. Don't even bother. We're looking for the maybes, the possibilities, the what ifs, and I can tell you that there's 5 for sure that I'm hopeful and interested in potentially getting, if we could. Even getting one of them or 2 of them. And then, as I said, the one pacer I got my eye on tonight, I'm optimistic that we'll end up with him, and we'll see how that plays out tonight into tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. We'll be keeping our eyes close on that. We want everybody to stick around. We'll be taking you right in to the coverage of the 2024 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale, expected to get underway around 7 p.m. They always kind of drag it on the first night, just make sure everybody's in position.
Really does, I think, Mark, drag it a little bit on the first night.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to throw to an interview. Jamie McDonald is with us once again, and she's been roaming around the grounds here at Fasig-Tipton, catching up with participants. I guess you could talk about consigners, those that might be looking to buy, breeders, you name it. And one of the individuals she caught up with needs no introduction. His name is David Reid. And before we throw to that, Anthony, you were saying to me, you think you're busy. David Reid, you were saying that man just goes and goes, one of the sales managers here at the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale as well. Preferred Equine, you see that name everywhere, David Reid.
Yeah, I mean, David, when you see what he does and what he does all the time, he makes me feel lazy when I see what he does. And then, you know, it dawned on me 2 days ago, hey, I never asked Dave if we could do this show.
So I don't know if we asked him that early any year.
Are we okay to do? Oh yeah, don't worry about it. We'll take care of everything. And it's just he always gives you that hospitality feeling, right? That no problem. Everything, no matter if it is a big deal or not, he makes it sound like it's not. And that's always what I try and do also. But he's been at it a lot longer than me, and a very interesting guy to talk to. A consignment we're always very, very interested in. And a pretty good guy, too.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned, Jamie caught up with David a little bit earlier today.
Welcome to Preferred Equine, and I'm here with David Reid. Now, David, kind of tell us your role with Preferred and with the sale here at Lexington.
Yeah, well, the owner of Preferred, and my role is just to kind of stay out of the way, I think, there. So, you know, we've been around a long time, and we represent a lot of breeders. So really just you know, working with our consigners right from the beginning in the springtime or even in the matings, and just try to plan the best we can for marketing their offspring, because, you know, without the breeders we wouldn't be here. So that's really our Preferred's main role, is representing, you know, multiple breeders from a lot of different jurisdictions.
Now, how do you connect with the breeders originally? If it's a new one coming in, do you reach out? Do they reach out, or kind of, you know, through people?
Yeah, kind of a blend. You know, you never know where your customer is going to come from, and you don't know how you can help that customer, right? So, you know, we don't believe that you have to use Preferred exclusively. If we can help them in one jurisdiction or the other, we'll try to do that. And if things work out, we'll continue. And you know, if it doesn't, then everyone goes their own ways, and no hard feelings one way or the other.
Now, when we're breeding, you know, in our mares or studs, they can move around. So obviously that depends what jurisdiction they're in. How does that work for you if they're coming from, you know, somewhere else?
Yeah, so actually, we have horses from multiple jurisdictions. We have, you know, Ontario, we have some European blood, we have Northeast, we have New York, Jersey, Pennsylvania, obviously. We have Massachusetts eligible, which is a residency program similar to Kentucky. So, you know, you are seeing many more dual eligible horses with the Kentucky program. But same thing, it's just where the breeders based and what their philosophy is would dictate what they want to do in their breeding plans. But you're seeing more flexibility than you did 5 years ago. There's no doubt about that. And the program's exploding down here. But you know, one explodes, the other one maybe gets a little softer. So it's actually good. So like the New York program, I think it's come back strong. They raised their purses for next year. So they're if you have a dual eligible, you know, it may not be as crowded as you think because some horses maybe not here racing Kentucky versus New York if they need a bigger track. So, you know, a lot of those little things go into play when you make decisions on matings and also when you're selling them.
Now, when you have people obviously in and out all day, it's a little bit calm right now as the sale's about to start and we're going through that process soon. But how far back do you think, you know, people are looking into these horses?
Well, I know we've been trying to, you know, Bruce and myself at the sales company have been trying to get the catalog online and on the app and then on the web earlier than usual. So people, they, you know, even though they haven't started a lot of their horses they raced last year, or they purchased last year, they're just starting to race like in July and August. They start planning for the future, and we try to get it out as quickly as possible, but we want accurate information and up-to-date information. So, but as soon as the catalog comes out, really, and I would say after, you know, you get rolling, you know, after the Hambletonian is when people really start focusing on the fall yearling sales, but we start focusing on it in January. Yeah. So, you know, after the sale gets done here, we clean up, you know, the collection of the funds and distribution, and we, you know, in January, February, we start the whole process over again. So
yeah, this is kind of like your Super Bowl season, right? Playoff, Super Bowl. It leads all the way up to you know, the fall for sales.
Yeah, for sure, and it's, you know, it's an important week for the industry because, you know, there's so much commerce that happens. You know, the breeders and, you know, the breeders are the lifeblood of the sport. You know, if we didn't have the breeders, we wouldn't have any horses, right? But then again, you got buyers here from all over the world. You know, we have Europeans, we have a lot of Australian interest, and obviously Canada and North America. So, you know, it's a big week for a lot of people, and it's exciting to come, you know, have it all come together. And tonight, to come before the storm for sure. We're only selling 118, 115, 120 horses tonight and whatever. Then tomorrow we get rolling in the day sessions. But it'll be hopefully it'll be good tonight for everybody. I think we have a good lineup of horses, you know, right from start to finish. And we're selling 14 tonight, but I just really hope, you know, right across the board it's good for everybody because it's important for the industry.
Yeah, there's, you know, day one, obviously, it's kind of more big money horses. Kind of in general, there's a bit more buzz with a bit more money happening. And do you find that that's kind of consistent throughout year to year? Kind of day one is your top sellers?
Oh yeah, for sure. Look at the statistics. You know, averages, you know, start highest tonight and they'll trickle down as we go through the week. But then we finish off on Friday night with the more regional sale. But you know, the catalog is so strong. It's so deep that, you know, buyers know their level, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's always exciting to come in here tonight because, you know, let's face it, you know, the Hambletonian winner, the Oaks winner, Meadowlands Pace winner, I mean, they're sold here at the sale, and, you know, that's everyone's dream is to buy one of those horses, and, you know, it's a good place to start when you're shopping. There's no doubt about that.
Now, do you find, you know, you're watching your horses that you've sold last year, kind of raced this year as 2-year-olds, and of course the 3-year-olds before that, and so on, and how they're racing right now, does that affect the sale price?
So I would say no. I mean, listen, the purse money being distributed would affect certain horses maybe in certain ways, right? But you know, we watch the offspring right from the beginning of the springtime. Sire power, you know, you're guessing on your first crop sires, even your second crop sires. You know, it's all a bit of a puzzle, but it definitely impacts the sale, but not directly. Okay. Indirectly, meaning like the sires or jurisdictions and regional and things like that. So, but if we watch it all the time, we track it, monitor it every week or daily. But you know, we do a summation every week and stuff like that. So it's a full year-round process. There's no doubt about that.
And just the process here at the sale, of course, you know, it's very hyped up, very busy, lots of buzz. How many people do you have working and preferred? Do you know roughly?
Too many, I know. No, we have a big staff. Yeah. I've always been a believer of that. So we would have this week we would have county office staff, clerical, nearly 100. I'm embarrassed to say that, but we have a lot of people. But we're selling, we have a consignment of 169 horses, and we want to make sure that everyone's treated equally, and we take great pride in that, and we just want to provide a good service to our customers as well. So.
Yeah, it's not only the horses though. Like you have your taco stand, your drinks, lots of ice cream. I've heard that was very good today.
Yeah,
I might have to grab some. But there's more to it than just walking a horse out and showing it to somebody.
Absolutely. We start in the morning, 5 o'clock. The horses get a little bit of exercise in the morning, and they just get a breakfast. They clean their stalls, and the grooms are here all day. It's a long day for them. Then you have your your managers per se, and then you have your Lily and the cappuccino machine, and then you got night watch. We have 4 guys on night watch. So I mean, it's really a 24-hour it's a 24-hour shift. In fairness, we have it covered. Yeah. But here again, we have a little slogan. There's a reason we're preferred, and I would like to think that the little things like that make a difference.
They absolutely do. And, walking around, there's always kind of everyone has their same barns each year, right, where you're coming in, and you could probably kind of get into a groove and you're comfortable with what needs to be done as you roll in each year.
Yeah, absolutely. Our staff and our customers themselves, people coming to look at horses, we have preferred we use stations, and we divided it by sex and gate, and we keep the same people with the same section. So it's good. It's good camaraderie. It's good for everyone, and it works. I can't say it was a great plan, but it works, and why break it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us here, and good luck tonight and the rest of the week.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the desk here. We're just outside the back ring at the Fasig-Tipton Sales Pavilion ahead of night 1 of the 2024 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. Mark and Anthony with you. We just heard from David Reid, and we appreciate him giving Jamie all that time, especially on a night like tonight. Yeah. This is going to be really busy for him, not only with his consignment, but of course as one of the managers of this sale. This year, I think there's around just under 1,000 horses in this year's sale. 5 days, nights, however you want to say it. Tonight, afternoon sessions Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then back to a night session on Friday. Have you looked very far ahead towards the end of the week? Are we looking at what we've seen in the past few years where the Friday kind of is more centered around some different jurisdictions, whether that be Ohio, Indiana?
Well, yeah, it usually is Ontario, Ohio, Indiana, stuff like that. We've already filled up mostly with Ohio. I think we have 17 Ohio breds already, so there's not going to be a need for Ohio for us. There's some horses that look fine. Ontario, obviously, we're going to look to get some Ontario breds for us, whether this be this sale, Ontario, or Harrisburg. We will get our Ontario breds for the season. Indiana, we usually keep 1 or 2. Some of the smaller jurisdictions like that, we just like to keep our feet in those jurisdictions and keep 1 or 2. But we've looked through most of the consignments. Both Dan is here, Steve is here, and a number of other clients that have come with us, and I think we've covered a lot of distance. We have a number of horses in price well over 200 horses in this sale. So a good 25% of the sale we've seen so far likely, and I'm comfortable in saying that we're probably going to find our horses that we're looking for in there. I don't expect there's going to be too many gigantic surprises in that regard heading through. I was really impressed with the input and dialogue our clients had for the Ohio sale, and it ended up being a much more surgical sale for us. We had a good idea what we were doing. We executed it, and I'm still very happy with the way it went. I would like to see this sale go in a similar fashion. You still never know. Is structured as you want to make it, it's still chaotic for us. You can't look at that many horses and keep them all in order. At the end of the day, we're going to do the best we can, but I like what I've seen so far from the consignments.
And I know one of the best things about TheStable.ca is the opportunity to be interactive and engage, and we've just been reading the chat, and you've been blown away by the conversation going on. Lots of people tuning in right now, whether that be on YouTube, Facebook. I got to ask producer Curtis if we're anywhere else. I think just those 2 platforms. But it's covering a lot of bases and lots of chatter, and that's great. I love it. I love the excitement that, whether they are all clients or they're just fans, they're getting in on the conversation.
It's so cool. I'm always blown away by how many people like to interact with us, and you can be sure not all those people are active clients on TheStable.ca, and it's so interesting to see the comments and the dialogue, and I'll jump on and chime in a little bit throughout the night, but I like to see that. I like to see everybody having a good time, and it's so hard to do. Especially in this industry, everything drifts towards that business side of everything, and it's so hard to pull everybody back and have everybody focused on the entertainment of horse racing. But I think we do a very, very good job at it, and certainly our clients are helping, because I'm blown away by how many people. You were an hour and a bit out of the sale.
Yep.
We're a full hour and 10 minutes out of the sale probably, and we have 50, 60 comments on here already. It's great, and keep it going, and I'll jump in here in a minute with some comments also.
Absolutely. Well, I see that Curtis is thrown in the chat to let you know that if you're in there, to leave us a question if you have a question for Anthony. I see the most recent question we got was from Chris McKenzie, who wanted to know how much you would have spent on yearlings the first year of TheStable.ca when things were just getting off the ground.
A lot of those horses were sent to us. I remember Tom Grossman had sent us some horses kind of here. The premise of the stable was, when we got started, was if you don't get what you want for your yearling, which happens all the time, maybe it's a hard ask. Hey, give us your money that you've poured into this horse, and allow us to train the horse down and sell shares of it to our new and ongoing growing list of clients. And that was a big ask. And we had a number of firms did it. We had Tom did it. Amy and I had taken a small amount of money out of the equity in our home, which is always intelligent. And to buy some horses. It was risky, and we ended up with maybe 20 or so the first year, and they were, as you can imagine, a lot of them were found the day after the sale. But we just did what we could to get by, right? We always hustled as much as we could at the sales, and just tried to make something out of, I don't want to say nothing, but something out of very little, and it's worked out and turned into one of the biggest stables in racing right now. And it's just, I'm very proud of what we've done. And listen, for people like you come down here and, stay on La Quinta and play such a major role in us bringing all our clients together. Curtis does also with the drone, and it's just, everything we do has worked well. A lot of it by accident, but it's worked well, and I'm just very proud of what has taken place.
Well, I see we got a few more questions. We'll get to those in just a little bit. I'm getting the wrap-up signal from Curtis behind the camera. That means we've probably got something else to go to. Curtis, what are we going to right now?
Videos.
We're going to more videos. We're going to check out some of the yearlings that are selling here on night number 1.
Now, I told you guys we were going to try and focus, and I think everybody is. Truthfully, I think a lot of people are on single jurisdiction, right? And everybody, just Kentucky was so congested this year. I think a lot of people that were racing down here said, you know what, bang for your buck, maybe just let Kentucky cool down for a little while. Maybe we're undervaluing just the New York and Pennsylvania program and overvaluing Kentucky, and that's not Kentucky's fault. I think just everybody flooded there. And when it comes to number 55 Vintner, this is New York eligible only. At a Wine Rack Hanover, I remember Wine Rack Hanover when she went through the ring. $225,000 she made life, mark of 54 and 2, a 2-year-old mark of 56, which is important. Second dam was okay, but the third dam is where you have Metz Inn, Metz Hall, all those good horses in the third dam. But a good-looking horse. Embarrassingly, I said big for a Chapter 7 on my thing. In the video, he looks like a much bigger horse, and he's not small. And by Chapter 7 standards, he's probably above average. But man, what a good looking video he had. And when he's put together perfectly, really, really, really nice looking colt. But I think he's just that, a really nice colt that a lot of people are going to gravitate towards. If you have any interest in Chapter 7, I don't think you can go buy Vintner and say you don't like him. Now, towed out a little bit, not bad though. And when you look at the video again, entering and exiting his gate, I guess that's just a flashy way of saying he comes off the ground really nice. So I like number 55 Vintner, and I think that he'll be a horse we'll be very, very focused on as he goes through the ring on day 1 tomorrow in Lexington. More from day number 1. This is number 73, Biblical Beauty here at Hunterton. Steve and I and Amy were just talking. I would say, fair to say, in a well above average sized Chapter 7 filly. She's New York and Kentucky eligible. This is the first foal from a Southwind Frank mare, who is a sister to Altar Atonement. Again, this is a lot of Diamond Creek blood in this filly. So you see these invading all the sales, right? All these strong bloodlines, sisters, and to this horse and that horse, and then another one down there. And it's really cool to look through all the page and look at the mares and see who they've thrown. A really nice looking filly here on day number 1. Quite frankly, I guess if I was to categorize her, I'd say she would be fine if she ended up being one of our higher end horses, but I don't know if she's one of our premier horses, so to speak. So kind of in the middle, right? Do we find a deal with this horse? I highly doubt it. But if we were to pick up number 73, Biblical Beauty, it certainly wouldn't concern me in the least. She's a beautiful filly. And again, I think one of the, as I like to say, the storylines, one of the storylines of 2024 into 25 will be how is Kentucky received, because it was jam-packed with people this year, and I think a lot of those people are thinking to themselves the same thing we did: is it worth being in Kentucky when there's 20 in each division as opposed to 4 or 5 or 6 in just New York or Pennsylvania or something like that? So these are all the cool kind of side notes that are going on as we make our way through Kentucky. But 73, Biblical Beauty, nice filly. Again, New York and Kentucky eligible. A well above average, I think, Chapter 7 sized horse. I really don't know what to think about this filly other than she's a real nice horse. We're here at Concord Stud Farm. Man, this is a good-looking filly here. 76, day 1. Sheesh is her name. She is a chimpanzee, so kind of going against what we're doing here. We were going to try and stay away from dual eligibility. The single eligibility, it's just Kentucky. This is Cool Papa Bell's sister. So our brother, I'm sorry. He will bring quite a bit of money, I think. Flashy video, good-looking way of moving. Can you walk him somewhere, anywhere? Really sharp looking colt. But make no mistake, nobody's missed this guy. I guarantee you, if there's been 500 people here, he's been out 400 times. Number 76, this is Sheesh, put together well, moves nice video. I like everything about him. Unfortunately, I believe everybody else will also. But nevertheless, you got to price the horses. You got to be ready in case they fall into your lap. And this guy unlikely will, but you never know. Number 76, a chimpanzee colt named Sheesh.
Yeah, I went the other way.
Number 78, Sweet Lake. This is Captain Luke's sister. This is the 6 foal, 6 winners, 100%. Now, the only dig I can find in this foal, little wart on her nose, a couple of warts on her nose, which no one cares about. Pennsylvania only, which only helps us, but is a June 8th foal. So a little late foal, but I'll tell you one thing, she looks really nice. So this is Captain Luke's full sister. The second dam is a dam of Bunny Lake. You're not going to find many better bred horses than this one in the sale, I don't think. Man, she's a beauty too. Can you walk her down? She's put together really well. You know, we've looked at a lot of horses today. You see the Captain Treacherous once in a while, they'll be towed in, or the Poppy Robs. This one's not. She is really nice and well put together. So if you can forgive the June 8th foal, which doesn't really bother me that much. She's ready when she's ready. Some of them it doesn't matter. Some of them they need a little more time. But every horse is a little bit different. This filly looks very mature and very well put together for June 8th or any other month. So, number 78, Sweet Lake is her name. She is one good-looking filly and a very good-looking family. Hey, girl. I like her. Number 83, this is continuing on with the family of King of the North, and as we like to say, punch the clock. This is a New York eligible only, Chapter 7, sister to the mother of Instagram model. The second dam is Check Me Out, who is the mother of King of the North, and as I just said, punch the clock. This horse is built well, your typical Chapter 7, not tall, rugged, but a very rugged looking. Actually, this looks like a colt. It's actually a filly. It's a big, strong filly. Now, not tall big. I just mean strong through the chest and the withers and the hind end. Very well-built filly. Probably to attract a lot of attention for 2 reasons. 1, she's a good-looking Chapter 7 on day 1 in Lexington. And 2, her pedigree line is incredible. So I think you're going to see, I'm not going to say you're going to see a ton of fireworks. I think maybe you might see her drift into the 6 figures tonight, but you may not. And if you don't, may be surprised with who signs for. Number 83 going viral, selling tonight, day number 1 in Lexington, Kentucky. April 30th. This is a colt by Poppy Rob Hanover, born April 30th. His name is Ecuador Hanover. This is Caviar Bell's brother, and he is a good-looking colt, really, really good-looking colt. Caviar Bell, let's see if there's any updates here. 672, third in the James Lynch. Irvin Hanover's in here also, a mark of 149, 390,000 made. Second Dam Ginger and Fred, $2 million made. Fred and Ginger, $1 million made. This has got a lot of money on this pedigree on this page. It's a good-looking colt by Poppy Rob Hanover. Not as big as the 2 captains we just looked at here. He doesn't have to be. Biggest horses don't always win, and this guy is far from small. Thing I like about him too, we talked about this earlier, only Pennsylvania eligible, no Kentucky on here. So again, single jurisdiction. Is it really going to play a role in this sale? I don't know. I have no idea. We're all going to find out together, but number 93 selling late in day number 1. Ecuador Hanover has caught my attention and is one good-looking colt. Can you walk him down for me? Did you park right here? Are you looking?
We're just outside Diamond Creek now, and Adam Bowen joins us. Now, Adam, just tell us your role here with Diamond Creek.
All right. Well, I own the farm and started in 2005. So, 18 plus years here later. We've got 48 that we're going to sell here this week and 5 tonight. So, expecting big things.
How are the nerves around the team today for tonight's sale?
Well, I've been doing this too long to get too nervous. I mean, it is what it is. And, we brought good product here and hopefully we'll get rewarded for it.
Speaking of the product here, how do you decide which ones come to Lexington or go elsewhere to other sales?
We've gotten to the point now where we have enough horses that we can split them between the 2 sales and try to find stuff that fits both places. And we're never perfect, but we try to give a little bit here and a little bit there and support both places.
Now, your team that here is with Diamond Creek, how many bodies do you have working around?
There's 30 of them here this week. I mean, most of them come from the farm, but we do hire some people just for the sale that have been with us a number of years and are great employees. But the farm staff, they love this. They've been with a lot of these horses from the time they've been born, so this is their reward as much as it's ours.
It's a working vacation kind of for everyone here.
Yeah, but we all need vacation when it's over.
Yes, that's true. In general, just kind of from the time they foal to getting them here to Lexington or Harrisburg or wherever they end up, what kind of steps, I know it's a long but kind of short and sweet, can you kind of tell us the main things that happen throughout that year?
I mean, we just try to get out of their way and let them be horses. They spend a lot of time outside, but we do bring them in and look at them and evaluate them regularly. They see the farrier and the vet as needed, but for the most part, they live outside and we treat them as horses. And just this last 6 or 8 weeks, they come into the barn to get prepped, but for the most part, horses.
For your prep work, what does that look like? Just kind of walking, handling, picking up feet?
Yeah, they spend the nights outside in herds and groups still, and they come in every morning, they get bathed, they learn how to walk on the walker, they walk in the aisleway, how to stand for shows and brushed and all that kind of stuff. Just trying to give them the basic steps for when they go to the next step that they're ready.
Well, perfect. Thank you for joining us here, and good luck this week.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, welcome back to the desk here as we're getting set for night one of the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. We told you we'd get to some of your questions in just a little bit, and that time is now. Anthony, I know you're scrolling through the questions there, so they're not really going to be a surprise, but I want to make sure to give a shout out to those that left those comments and they asked those questions. So I'll start first with Robert, who wants to know, does Anthony have favorite stallions? Do you have any favorite stallions when you're going into a yearling sale? And do you have some stallions that essentially do you avoid? You might have to put your politician hat on here, obviously, but you look at a lot of horses, so do you have some favorites?
Oh, 100%. There's horses that we've done well with, and especially horses that stamp through yearlings, right? You know, when you see the Some Beach somewheres, they all look the same, right? When you look at other sires, like Captain Corey's, they all seem to look a little different. They seem to have the same head, but they're all made totally different. And we're going to have some stallions that I generally enjoy training and driving, and other ones that I don't. That we'll just kind of stay away from. And that plays, I'd be lying if I said that didn't play a role in our evaluation of every horse. I don't think that there's, you know, a group of horses that we're going to look at these ones first because those are the ones I love. No, not really. Where I'm going to give everybody a benefit of the doubt and try and look at them. You look at a horse like Green Shoe, they've all been a little erratic, a little hot. Some people like them a little bit, some people don't. We had okay luck with them. But when push comes to shove, I'm not going to shy away from them, where other people have had great luck with some sires and we haven't. So, yeah, as a human being, yes, it plays a role in what we look at and we don't look at, but I think it does for everybody too.
Really appreciate the question, Robert. We'll get back to the questions in just a second. One that kind of came to mind, you were talking about how some of these stallions really stamp their offspring. There's a stallion that I'm kind of intrigued by, and I don't know if you even have looked at any of his sons or daughters. Calgary Games.
Yeah. Calgary Games. So a perfect example of horses. Him and the other horse. There's 2 or 3 of them that are only Kentucky.
Yes.
Right? And actually, one of our clients, Pat, had asked me about Calgary Games. She had saw a video that looked good. Yeah, sure. We would buy a Calgary Games in a heartbeat if that particular horse looked good. You know, people see them, they're like, I don't know that horse. The horse has been crushing it.
He was a top horse.
Now that we've broken down all the borders in horse racing, and you have international horses coming here and horses going there. The big news over the last 2 weeks was Tactical Landing is getting into the French book, which hasn't been open in like half a century or something. So all these horses going back and forth, it is so odd to look at, but you really have to know what you're looking at. And horses that are very strong in Europe play a major role here too. We had bought some horses last year. The stallion that Propulsion. One of our top purchases last year was a Propulsion, and somebody said, "Well, he's a first crop sire." Not really.
No.
That sire was crushing it in Europe before those babies ended up being sold here. So a little glimpse into what is possible here for sure. So Calgary Games, I like Calgary Games. The videos that I saw look nice. We have looked at a couple of horses. They have looked nice. But again, will we still be very active come Thursday? In a perfect world, we won't be. It's possible.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. A lot of them are selling later in the sale. There's 11 Colts, 5 fillies. So I'll be very interested because I'm trying to remember the last time there was probably a standout trotter in Europe that never raced in North America that is then now transitioned to be a stallion here in North America. It's kind of interesting. I see there's 2 Bold Eagles selling. We saw him here though. He came and raced in the Breeders' Crown. I know it was a cup of coffee. Wasn't here for long. It was one race, but we at least were familiar. This is one that, unless you follow European racing very closely, you won't be familiar with. So I think it's very intriguing, and we'll keep our eyes on that as the week goes. Another question we had here, and it came from a couple different individuals, were they're curious about, do you look at the date that the horse was foaled?
Of course. All things being equal, January 1st foal would be a winning all the races. It doesn't work that way. So what we're still trying to do is find athletic-looking horses that are going to do some good for us. And you might find those more mature athletic horses in April, even sometimes in May. Lawmaker, and I use this saying for a number of things all the time, but Lawmaker made an immediate impact in his 2-year-old season. Immediately, right out of the gate, he was a May 30th foal. And we never really had much of a lameness issue with him. He had some things that bothered him later on his 3-year-old season, but throughout his 2-year-old season into 3, there was no issues to speak of at all. And there was almost a June foal. So I see some people answering on there, absolutely makes a difference. Truthfully speaking, it makes no difference, because these are all very individual horses. What about a smaller horse born in May as opposed to a gigantic horse born in February? At the end of the day, we're looking for mature-looking athletic individuals that we'll be able to do some work, and that is to me the most important thing. I know that Amy picks up on that right away. Dan does. Steve does. Hey, by the way, this is a March foal. By the way, this is a January foal. By the way, this is a May foal. Me, I'm just looking at the horse in front of me and then using the evidence, the supporting evidence, to either prop up my position or debunk it and push forward.
So realistically, you can almost shy away from a January foal because maybe they are more mature and they got much more room to grow. Obviously, horses are going to grow, but could you look at some of those late foals and go, okay, there's still a lot of growing this horse could do?
We bought a June foal in the Ohio sale, and she was Katie's Lucky Day's sister, May or June foal, and she was very small, very petite, and we just kicked her back out in the field. We didn't even break her with this group.
No point rushing.
We're going to bring her back in after Lexington and start her up. Sometimes you do have to give them time to grow. In March and April when they hit that growth spurt, sometimes you do got to back off. And will the horse in January already gone through that spurt or have less of a spurt? But each horse is an individual, and I think that is important. That's the one thing that we focus on, whether it be at the sale or whether it be training down. We treat every horse as an individual. We don't look at a calendar. Everything is different per horse. And when it comes to the months or the days they're born, I think the most important thing is, how does that horse look to you?
Right. Well, Trevor noted in the chat that Some Beach Somewhere was born on May 25th, so there you have it, right?
My man Trevor, he's on the ball.
Definitely is. Again, if you have some questions, make sure you get them in. We're getting a little bit closer to 7 p.m., which will be the start of night 1 of the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. I can see Curtis again instructing me. If we had earpieces, Curtis, you could talk to me there. We're going to something else. What do we got lined up, Curtis?
Throw paper airplane soon.
We might start throwing. What do we got? Commercial. Oh, there, we got to pay some bills. All right, we'll be right back.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine recently introduced its exciting new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To create your account or learn more, visit www.preferredequine.com or call 914-773-7777.
Own a little and love it a lot. TheStable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. TheStable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at TheStable.ca.
Welcome back to Lexington, Kentucky. Luscious bluegrass here as we are at the Fasig-Tipton Sales Pavilion getting set for night number 1 of the 2024 Lexington Select Sale. We welcome you back in, Mark and Anthony, and I know things are going to get really busy. They're busy tonight, but day 2, 3, and 4 afternoon sessions. So when we come up, we won't have as much time as we did here tonight. We'll try and get a lot of guests on over the next few days. I think everybody on night number 1 just excited to get here and to get things going. We talked about leaving some questions in the chat. Well, we've been getting plenty on YouTube, taking a look at our Facebook page as well. I wanted to get to this question coming from Norm, who wanted to know, do you put more emphasis on the maternal line or specific sires, and why?
That's a great question. I think the maternal line is the most important. You'll give a little bit on a sire, and obviously I am always going to lean towards first crop sires if we're trying to find value. So we did that when we looked at Captain Corey, right? Or Perfect Sting. We didn't talk about him. There's a horse that will probably dominate the New Jersey scene for the next few years. And yes, I'm going to look at the sires, but the maternal line is the most important. I saw a question over there too. Pull up number 49.
49.
So I am blown away by the amount of people that have chimed in, both on Facebook and YouTube. I just thought it was the YouTube chat till Mark said, now, what about the
out of a sister to Lion Sentinel?
Yeah, somebody said, what about the White Feet Anthony? Yeah, here's the thing. There is no way for me to say what those white feet will play, what role they'll play on a horse, negative or positive. So I just dismiss it. They're white feet. They're just white feet.
Right.
You know, are we going to say, oh, they're more prone to have sore feet? Yeah, possibly. But again, that would depend on the horse itself, right? How does a horse train down? You know, I'd said this to one of our clients the other day. It's wonderful to come here and talk to you and look at all the horses and go to the sale and think that you got your clever hat on. But at the end of the day, you're going to buy the horse. You have to break it without mishap. It has to stay healthy, sound, train down well, and competitive. Have a great work ethic and attitude. There's 7 things, right? Then you have to just get it to the races, qualify it again without any mishap. Then you have to put it in a go with horses that it's competitive with. And then you have to draw good, stay healthy and sound in that particular race, and then get a good drive from the driver. So just about 13 or 14 variables that you have zero control over from the time you buy the horse till the time it races. You can only do the best job you can. We're going to try and find the most value we can with these horses. We're going to train them down as the athletes they are. We're going to bring them to the track, and we're going to hope that they compete well. And that's all we can do. And I think that is important for everybody to understand is how much of the unknown goes into horse racing. You know, we talk about the horse racing gods or luck. You better have both on your sides if you want to do good. You want to do good in this industry, you need a healthy dose of both.
You need a lot to go your way, there's no doubt about that. Thanks for that question. That was Haley that asked about hip number 49. Just want to make sure that we do give you that shout out. I'm just looking here, see if we got any more questions coming right in. Trevor's just finding more champions that were late foals as well. Shadow Play, June 5th. So there was something in the water that year, I guess. They were the same.
And I want everybody to understand that is that you're looking for individuals, right? The more you try and group horses, the more you'll find out it doesn't work well.
No.
Right? You'll always find outliers. You'll always find, you know, those atypical horses just don't fit into your model. And those are the horses that we are looking for, right? So that's why I always defer to value. What is the horse in front of me worth? What are we as a group willing to pay? And can we get that horse for that dollar amount or less? And that really is the most general, simplistic way that I can break it down.
What do you make of the Kentucky Sire Stakes program? I know it's been all the rage for the last few years.
It's caused an awful lot of trouble, I can tell you that.
It has definitely raised a lot of eyebrows. It's brought a lot of money in with these dual eligible horses. But I was looking, and I've seen where you've spotted some of your horses when you've got the various tiers. I'm having a tough time judging these horses. We saw a horse win the Metro Pace this year that wasn't even winning, you know, was finishing 3rd in the top Sire Stake in Kentucky. Then comes, wins the Metro Pace, and shows this horse has got a ton of ability. But if you'd left him here, you might have thought, what do we got?
It's a hard place to get a handle on because there's so many horses here. You know, we thought, and I'll say it out loud because every trainer with a brain in their head's thinking the same thing right now. Is it really worth it to drag your horses to Kentucky? No dig on Kentucky. But there has to be a leveling out of where Kentucky fits on the grand scheme of things. Because what they did was they just drew every horse from North America over the last 2 years. And I think you're going to see people maybe dismiss the dual eligibility from a little bit more. And that's just all the money is here right now. So are all the horses. So are all the big trainers. And so are all the big drivers. So the question, you have to ask yourself is it maybe worth it to stay home with my horse that might be good? I'm looking at a couple of our horses that did okay, that I think might have done better in the places they were meant to be, rather than dragging them down here. It almost felt like the round peg in the square hole when we got here. But that's the way it is. You know, if I said, hey, Manitoba is going to offer $20 million next year. Don't think for a second there wouldn't be people in Manitoba.
They'd be flocking there,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
And Kentucky has done a great job destabilizing the staking program across the board. But hey, good for them. You know, they'd had enough. This is horse racing country, and they just said, you guys can work it out. We're going to put on a top program moving forward. If you want to be a part of it, great. And you don't. And I think that's what had to happen. But the same as everything else, I think you got this massive influx, and I think it's going to level out over the next couple of years where the New York Stars are not going to have 4 or 5 in the finals next year.
No.
Right? Pennsylvania is going to be strong again next year. Ontario, Ohio, people are going to look and say, is it really worth me going to Kentucky? Because there's sharks everywhere, as you just pointed out. The Metro winner came from the B division in Kentucky. That's not taking anything away from the Metro.
No.
That's just showing you how difficult and how competitive all the divisions are in Kentucky. It's a shark tank, and I, like everybody else, am just trying to figure out what's next. What are we going to do next?
I think maybe the most lucrative area in the Kentucky Sire Stakes might be the 4-year-olds right now. There have been some very, and it's not a knock on any of those horses, but some very average race horses that are getting out of the Kentucky Sire Stakes program, having made over 6 figures. Now they're going into your condition races, and they're not preferred horses.
Blown up,
But they had a great chance to earn some money, and maybe that's where lies the opportunity. Maybe you don't have to go to the well at ages 2 and 3 here, but come back, you got that dual eligible, you never know.
We have that Colt Arson, and he was 5th in the final, but had been racing with those horses his whole life, and we will keep him over for the 4-year-old series also. I think he's a very, very nice horse, maybe just off the periphery of the top end of the Colts, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that he's a good example of what Kentucky can do, because I think you're 100% right. Maybe next year will be different again.
Yeah.
It has destabilized the market so much that nobody can really predict truly what's going to happen. All I can do is try and predict what we should do. And then, we're not going to waver from that. Once we swing, it'll be for the fences. You be sure of that.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go and check out some more of the horses selling here tonight. We figured things out. We don't need an earpiece. Curtis can just text me. So that's why he's the man behind the scenes making all this magic happen. All right, let's go to some of those video packages right now.
It's human nature that we all have top picks, right? I do, you do, everybody does. If you took the time to look through the catalog, there's something that draws you to one horse or another. And this one right here, number 95, Muffin Queen, this was one of Amy's top picks. I liked her too. She's a beautiful filly. Really nice. We've seen 2, 3 horses in this sale out of this same line, and all 3 of them look really, really nice. Muffin Queen is a tactical landing New Jersey and Kentucky filly. March 10th foal out of Love Muffin, who's an Andover Hall, and this is Love Muffin's first foal. She's a sister to Big Barb, who was the mother of Back of the Neck. Then you look down on the 3rd dam, you have Broadway Schooner, all those really, really good horses all through, scattered everywhere in all the branches of this family tree. This is a really strong family, really nice filly. No real knocks on her, maybe a hair towed out up front, but again, when you look at her video, it doesn't come into play at all. Number 95 is a really nice filly. She's going to have a lot of fireworks attached to her tonight, financially speaking. But number 95 is a horse we are definitely going to be watching ourselves. I like her for sure. This is one of my top picks on day one. He is late in day one. There's only 117 selling on day one. This is number 106. And this is what you want a horse to look like. My God, this is a gorgeous horse. He is a Walner, New Jersey eligible only. Now we'll see how much the single jurisdiction matters. I don't think it'll matter as much in previous years as it does this year. Or the opposite, I should say. This is a Walner Colt, March 27th. Out of Ice Attraction. Ice Attraction took a 2-year-old mark of 53-3, made $730,000 by Muscle Hill through slip sliding away, and let me see. That's it. 1 foal, 1 winner. 2-year-old mark of 54-4, 53-2. It trotted in, made $161,000 by Father Patrick. The 2nd dam, not only did she throw Ice Attraction, she threw the Ice Duchess, who made $774,000. So 2 very good horses in a family full of really nice horses, but I'm going to tell you, this is exactly what you, as I said, exactly what you'd want a horse to look like. Number 106 is one of my top picks in the entire sale. He's selling late, pretty late actually, in day number 1, and his name is Ice Fall. You walk him down for me? Number 107, I'm Kronos S. This is a very, very good looking Walner colt. Obviously day 1 Lexington, but late in the sale. There's only 10 hips left after this guy. And this is a Walner colt out of a sister to Check Me Out. Check Me Out obviously is the mother of King of the North and, as we know, Punch the Clock. Really nice colt, really nice video, but very correct. As you assume a day 1 horse in Lexington would look, you could sell him at any number on day number 1, but most definitely at 107 he's interesting. At this point, we've already went through most of our day 1 horses that we were really, really interested in. So if there's a chance that this guy somehow falls through the cracks, which I find highly, highly unlikely, this would be a colt that we would be very, very interested in getting. Now he's New Jersey only eligible, which we talked about before the sale. He is a February 12th colt, so he's well filled out and looks very, very nice. And second foal from a third foal from a Muscle Hill mare. She's already had 1 horse, Gap Kronos, a FaceTime Bourbon, that has taken a 2-year-old mark of 156 and 1. So number 107, I'm Kronos S. Definitely a horse on our radar here on day number 1. Number 108, Inexpressible. Typical day 1 Lexington horse, loaded with pedigree. This is a dual eligible New Jersey, Kentucky Walner colt. First foal from Ineffable. Ineffable is a sister to Venerable. Also a sister to a mare named Crucial, and Crucial is the mother of Maryland, one of the best 2-year-olds in North America right now. So goes without saying, and then look down the second dam, you have Jolene. This horse is just about loaded to the brim with pedigree. A good-looking horse. If I was going to give him any digs, maybe a hair towed out up front. But man, what a good-looking colt this is. It's always nice to look at these deep pedigrees and these nice-looking horses here in Lexington, and you fall into a trap, right? You get down that rabbit hole of thinking, you know, this is a nice one, that one's a nice one, and you end up not being able to afford any of them. But the other side of that coin is you really have to be ready in case you can't afford any of them. So you want to make sure you take all the notes on all the horses, regardless if you can afford them or not, because it is a sale, and as we say all the time, you really never know. So number 108, another horse that's high-powered pedigree and a good-looking horse selling here on day number 1 in Lexington. One of these horses, I would like to say, or maybe a couple of them, will come home with us. I'd be more than happy if it was number 108. Inexpressible. April 13th colt selling here later in day number 1 in Lexington. Can you walk him down? Malevolent.
Malevolent.
Malevolent is hip number 117. This is the last horse in the ring tonight, and this was on one of my top lists. I really like this filly. She's Walner. She is a New Jersey, Kentucky dual eligible filly, April 14th. I love the Evident Beauty. She was such a nice horse. Trotter of the Year in 2019, $800,000 made. And as Steve was just saying, we've seen a lot more Trixton mares this year showing up. I'm interested to see how they'll be. I just want to see if there's any updates here. Demystify, 58-1 now, 5,000 made. So just a racehorse. The first foal from one of the first foals from Evident Beauty. This is the third foal. So Prominence took a 2-year-old mark of 57, and now you have Demystify Racing as a 2-year-old, and this is the Yearling by Walner. Very strong family, very, very good-looking filly, and as I said, the very last horse to go through the ring tonight in Kentucky. Number 117, Malevolent. Dual eligible, April 14th, Walner filly selling here on day 1 in Lexington. Can you walk her down for me, sir?
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're at the desk here. We just looked at hip number 117. I believe that's the final horse tonight. That is.
Last horse in the sale.
So I guess that means you're not leaving early.
No.
Not that you would, no.
No, and you know what? Somebody asked me, does the last horse or the first horse in a day matter? Yeah, it does matter.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of a role it'll play because this is a quality filly right here. I think most everybody's going to wait till 117.
Yeah.
But we definitely are. She's a real sweetheart, and I like her. And you know, we constantly, I just had a great conversation with a number of our clients about some of the horses we're picking and how value plays a role in the decision we make to buy or not buy those horses. And it's such an intriguing thing. I think, you know, I see a lot of clients that have never been to Lexington before coming, and I would implore everybody, you know, next year, circle it on your calendar.
Definitely.
If we're here, you should be, because it's a lot of fun. And you know, for that consignor that saw us waltz into his consignment with 17 or 18, I would love to see the number be 40 or 50 next year. It's a lot of fun.
It is. They probably have to order some more food, some of these consigners.
Yeah.
All right, we got a few more questions coming in here. Tony wants to know, what do you think of long pasterns?
I think they're long. Long pasterns will have clients that will say, I do not want a horse with long pasterns. They're more prone to soft tissue issues. Their pasterns have to genetically be a little more weak, and I don't know that that's true or not. We have horses with long pasterns that there's no issues whatsoever, and then, you know, we have some horses with long pasterns that do, but we have some horses with short pasterns that do also. I don't, if the horse is built correctly and looks proper, I'm going to be interested in the horse. And long pasterns, short pasterns, you know, I don't care.
When you see a horse that toes out, is that?
That's a great question too. Amy and I looked at a lot of that today. Trotters, it bothers me a lot less. Obviously, pacers, it is kind of a no-no. But with trotters especially, I'm not that worried about it. We've had really good luck with international money, and a number of the ones that we had bought actually toe it a little bit. You know, almost say 11-1. But you know, the way that they, what I say, enter and exit their gait. As long as they do that straight, you're fine. And that's where the videos play a big thing. I try not to let the videos, you know, a guy like Curtis could make a skunk look like a thoroughbred.
Oh yeah.
Right? And I just want to see the horse coming at you and leaving you. And if that horse hits the ground square, comes off the ground square, that's fine. But the ones that really start to wing them in, you got to think to yourself,
eventually,
we've got some knee boots here in the future of this one. And some of the horses we've had that we bought do go to their knees and they're straight, and some of the ones that are at 11-1, don't even wear knee boots. So with trotters, it's a little more forgivable, I think, than with pacers. But yeah, it does play a role. This is stuff you got to look for sure.
Yeah, and that's why we watch these videos that we put together here. But again, it's not just we're putting them together to show everybody at home. You're doing your homework. You're
right.
doing your research. You want to see
your
these
video
horses.
is watching what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And I'm more concerned, truthfully, with horses that toe in, because you put a lot of pressure on their knees. And I'll buy both. We will buy. If you give me enough value and give me a reason to, I'll buy a horse toed out and I'll buy a horse toed in. But it does come with baggage. You have to know that.
You stand in the back ring each and every year. I imagine you're not changing your spot this year. But what's the reason for that? Some people might think, why are you not right in the main auction ring? My guess is, and I do know the answer, but there's a lot going on back here, and as many horses as you've looked at, there might be one that you didn't see 100%. That might catch your eye.
And also, when our horses are going through, you want to give them a second or third over, just to make sure. The last thing you want to do is buy a horse and realize that you made a mistake. It hasn't really happened with us because we do put a lot of time and effort into doing this, but I want to make sure that the horse I'm bidding on with your money, with our money, is the same horse that I thought he was at the consignment or when I saw him in the field. And when I watch them walk around the back ring, I'm very attentive in watching those horses do that. When they walk by me, when they go in, the last few seconds before they walk into that ring, I want to take my time and watch everything that is going on. So yes, I do stand there. I do like standing there, and I just feel like it's the last line of defense. This is it before we bid on you. So show me what you got.
I see Mike dropped a comment a little bit earlier on Facebook talking about the first foal from Kissing in the Sand. She was a standout mare. She raced for Nancy Tactor. They come here with deep pockets, and she's got a lot of big clients. First foal, I mean, this thing's probably going to bring a ton of money. Did you even look at that one? Do you remember?
100% I did.
Yeah.
We looked at all the Tall Dark Strangers that looked like they had some power in them.
Yeah.
Just because, well, a horse like that, first off, you have broodmare value. You have residual value. So if that horse leaks down into our range, it's almost a free horse.
Right.
As long as she can bear babies, it's almost a free horse. Now, everybody else is thinking of that.
Same thing, yeah.
So is Nancy and the owners of Tall Dark Stranger and the syndicate going to prop him up and run those horses up? I don't see why they wouldn't. But again, that's part of the storyline process that we're watching and we're very intrigued by. And I'm eager. I'm interested to see. And if they don't, if they get the alligator arms on, then we're probably going to be there and maybe take a shot at one of those horses. And that's what we've done. From the day we started the stable, we have hustled and tried our hardest to find a way in where other people can't. And if we do our homework and we are ready to strike when an opportunity comes up, then I want to believe we can. It's not always going to be right. We're going to swing and miss. But we're not gonna watch the third strike come in. I can guarantee you that.
All right. Well, we got another interview to go to. As we said, Jamie's been catching up with many folks around the sale here today and all week long. She'll continue to do that. So let's go to one of those interviews right now.
We're here at Winback now with Jim Ladwick. And Jim, tell us about kind of your role at Winback first.
I'm the yearling manager at Winback, so I oversee, from the time they get weaned to the time the hammer drops at the sale.
Tell us about that process when they're first coming, their first foaling. How busy is that for you guys?
Oh, foaling's very busy time of year for us. It starts early January and right through to mid-June, and it's a process. And we foal almost 300 mares at the farm, and so it keeps us busy.
And what's your preferred time range for the foals? Obviously, they don't all come when we want, and they don't all, get bred when we want. But
I'd say the preferred time range would be, February through May. Okay. That would be preferred,
And then after kind of they come in and they're outside, they're getting handled. What type of, handling do you guys do with them?
Well, we handle which we just started doing this about last couple years, is we handle, we hand walk them out to the paddock with their mothers to get turned out, and then hand walk them back in, and that makes a huge difference. That pays off dividends. During prep, when they come in and they're already kind of broke to lead, basically, and then we kind of go through them, trim them and vaccinate them once a month or so, and they come in and they get handled a bit during that, and then when then they get weaned, and we continue that process of trimming and such, and by the time they come in for prep, they're fairly well broken. It doesn't take too long, a couple days, and they remember their lessons from foals, and they basically behave pretty well.
And how about just the process getting them here to Lexington? Because you guys kind of are all over, so you've got, different locations coming in all at once.
Right. So most of the yearlings, we get some foals down from Canada, after Harrisburg, they come down. So they spend, the winter and then spring and summer with us, and we prep everything at the farm. Everything is raised at the farm in Maryland. And then, we bring the Goshen horses in first, get them, brought in, and then videoed. So we video after they've been in about 2 weeks. And then I ship them up to Noelle, and she takes over from there and gets them ready until the Goshen sale. And then sort of we do the same with our Canadian horses. We get them in, get them videoed, and then we send them up to Pat in Canada, and he takes it from there. And then we bring in Lexington, and then, that's about a 7-week prep we do for them. And, that's just, get them in, get them on the video and on the exerciser, and, just prep them for the sale, teach them how to stand, teach them how to, get a bath, stand in cross ties, just stuff they're going to happen to them when they turn into race horses, get them ready for the next step.
Absolutely, and we talk about videoing them. Everyone does yearling videos, but not everybody here online has seen the yearling videos or kind of know what that process is. So just tell us kind of what you guys look for when you're doing yearling videos.
Well, you're looking for, a nice fast video first. Everybody likes fast, but, we go for that. You want like nice reach and extension, and you're looking, then a lot of, the up and down, the front and backs. You're looking for, whether they wing or out or wing in, the economy of motion. You want to make sure everything's straight and stuff like that. So that's what we're looking for. That's what the buyers are looking for. We have a pretty streamlined process. We can do almost 50 in a day. So, we have a pretty good process, and it works out. And it's a busy time, but, I love it, actually. I love it. I'm not running and working as hard as I used to in the paddock, so I get more time now to enjoy it and just watch the horses go. And it's really, I like it. It's fun time, fun couple of days.
And speaking of, being busy, this week, how many do you have in the sale this week in Lexington, and how many tonight on day one?
We got 3 tonight selling that we like a lot, but all told we're selling 77.
Well, thank you for joining us here, and good luck this week.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate it.
That's you.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the desk here as we are just under 15 minutes away from the start of the 2024 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. And again, final call for any questions if you want to get them in here before we let Anthony get to the back ring to get set up for the start of the session. And unlike past years, we want you to stick around right off the top. We're going to stay on for the first little bit. Not entirely sure. We're just going to go with the flow and start off the action. Just bring you a little more behind the scenes and a little more enhanced coverage of this year's sale. And I think that's a good idea, Anthony, because typically we're just on the desk. We're going to try and take everybody to where the action is.
We're always trying to bring people into what we're doing, all right? I'm trying to explain to people what Kentucky's like. I can't tell you how good the food is. I can't tell you what the atmosphere is like or the weather's like, but we can do our best to bring the sale to you, and I think that's not going to be easy to do, but I'm confident between you and Curtis and Cam Wade, I'm certain that you can. I'm certain that you can get it done. It's it's just one of those things where you wait for it all year and you don't want it to pass by too fast, but you want to get it started.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you see that a lot with calling races, big races like the Metro and North American Cup. You can't wait for it to come, but you don't want it to go.
And then it just goes by like that.
And that's how Lexington is. I'm just so excited for the night and really, really happy to be a part of this. I'm still blown away by how many people have chosen. And this is why we're going to the sale. This is why we're going to show people a little bit of the sale.
Yep.
Is for the people that are at home, whether you be Naik in the Netherlands, and if I'm saying your name wrong, feel free to explain that to me. Or whether it's Bob, who's also in the Netherlands right now. People in Germany that are watching, people in all over North America that are watching what we're doing right now. And I want to bring them just a little glimpse of what we go through at the sale. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, you mentioned to me a little bit earlier today that it was up to me to take a look at tonight's session and
yes.
try and pick one out that I think the stable could acquire.
Yep.
And of course, we're not going to be unrealistic here. We're trying to ballpark it and find one that could be in the range, one that could maybe we could find some value. So I'll let you go first. I've got one pegged here that I think will be coming to the stable tonight.
Well,
what about you?
Yeah, I don't want to change it away from our draw.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. The safe bet would be a colt.
Yes.
Because the fillies just have so much residual value. I don't think you're going to be able to buy a colt. Now, I'm going to give you a horse that I like on night one. And again, we have a premium pacer and a premium trotter. So it's not like we have a couple of dollars.
Yeah.
We have a couple of bullets in the chamber to fire tonight. And I told you about storylines. Mm-hmm. What about Chimpanzee?
Yeah.
What's going to happen with Chimpanzee tonight? It wasn't like he lit the world on fire. Now, he's only in Kentucky. He's a first crop sire last year. I still think he makes quality horses. His book was fantastic, the mares that he got. So he's going to have success, but how much? So I'm going to tell you what, my pick for the night, for us, because I love this horse, he is a colt. I think it's a safe bet to go away from the fillies, is number 60, Bricko.
Okay.
I think Bricko is 6 hours half-brother by Chimpanzee, and I'm sure the... How you doing, sir? Oh,
you know me?
Fantastic.
You know me?
No.
You don't?
No.
You bought Aunt Lily from me last.
Oh my God, Aunt Lily's.
Aunt Lily.
Aunt Lily's. You want to sit in the broadcast with us?
No.
No? Well, that's too late. You already are.
Oh, you're in the broadcast.
No, it's all good.
No problem.
Thanks for dropping by.
Well, there you go. You never... Absolutely, don't forget to. Don't forget to. All right? Don't forget to. Yeah. So there you go. For those of you that are out there saying, are Amish people real? They are. There's one right there.
Oh, no, all good.
Geez,
Come by anytime. That's
so
a first.
We were invaded.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. It could have been somebody flashing us, running around, exposing themselves. There's Dominic Ledoux. Just showed up too.
You know, these big lights, I know people can't see them.
Yeah,
they usually tip off that we're doing something.
Well, I mean...
Well, it's a good point.
Yes. So when it comes to that gentleman was a breeder of Aunt Lily, one of our horses, and he has a Captain Corey filly later in the sale. So no doubt he was trying to butter us up to look at her, and we have looked at her. So getting back to Bricko.
Yeah.
Now that we've been intruded.
Yeah.
Getting back to Bricko. Bricko's a nice colt. He is obviously a stud, not a filly. So this horse we shouldn't be able to afford. I think there's a better than good chance both of the horses we're going to talk about we can't get. But if I was to go with one of my top picks on day one, a colt that we might be able to afford, it would be number 60, Bricko.
Okay, well there you go. And thank you for holding my page, because the one that I was looking at is Hip 106, and this is a Walner colt. And I know Walner's obviously in high demand, and they just continue to, nothing but great results for the most part. Yep. But I'm looking here, Ice Attraction, she was a world champion, a real nice mare that made $700,000. But what I'm looking here is still a young mare. She's had just one foal. Yep. That one a winner. Slip sliding away. Some might know if they follow the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes. But here's a horse that is not dual eligible. And what I noticed is that tonight, most of them are. Most of them are dual eligible. Most of the Walners are. So I think later in the sale here, maybe this is your chance. If you want to get a Walner, just going to be New Jersey eligible, but still money to be made there. This could be the one. The Ice Queen's the second dam. There's a deep pedigree here, as there is with most of the pages here tonight. But here could be a chance, I think, to get a Walner.
You made a smart choice. And I think you have to understand, Aki, Tony Alagna, Marcus Melander, they've all bought farms in Kentucky. Yeah. So if you were going to give them an opportunity to buy a horse that's dual eligible or not dual eligible, maybe they don't care when you're talking about the very top of the heap.
Right.
But if you're looking for maybe a quality horse, all things being equal, I would have to believe that a dual eligible horse would be in their favor before a single eligible.
Yes.
So you touch on a very, very important point. Is it going to matter tonight if if it's a dual eligible? Last year, if it was any horse dual eligible, people were buying them at a premium. Is that premium still available tonight? That is one of the most important storylines of the entire sale, and I have no idea how it's going to play out. But if you're right, and it does play out, if people are looking for dual eligibility still, then that horse has to be discounted, does he not?
I think so. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's the first colt as well. I think that's something always to note. So I'll say 106.
Pick. A great pick. I'm saying 60. And actually, now that we talk about it, I think you might be ahead of me here.
Well, we'll see. You go check the results page.
Mark McKelvey is ahead of me, I believe, in the opportunity here. I love both these colts. I think you picked one that might be a little more attainable than mine, but who knows?
Well, we'll see. Check the results page. Like we said, we're going to stay on for a little bit at the start of the sale. 117 horses are scheduled to pass through the ring. I'm not sure how many outs there are, but it'll take, I would imagine, around 3.5, 4 hours tonight's session. But we'll stay on for maybe 20, 30 minutes. Who knows? We'll just go with the flow, see how things are going. I think we're going to send you on your way here in just a second. I don't know if we had any more questions come in. I saw one from Tim Dean who was just asking, actually, what qualifies a yearling to be dual eligible, and what it is a good question, because this really wasn't much of a thing up until the last several years with the Kentucky Sire Stakes program essentially going away from the sires. They might as well rename the program, actually. It's the mares, and if I got it right, if the mare is in full,
It's 6 months
in the state for 6 months, then that foal is eligible to the Kentucky Sire Stakes, along with wherever the stallion stands.
Exactly. So there is a difference. You have to have your mare in the region in here for 6 months. So if you're Pennsylvania bred and you foal in Kentucky, you're dual eligible. You are not eligible to Kentucky bonus. That is for chimpanzee, Goo Goo Gaga.
And that's like, what, 20%?
I'm not even sure Goo Goo is.
20% extra or something?
Try 50.
50, there you go,
50,
So
right on the top. Yeah, so it's a huge incentive program. The breeders were smart. They didn't do what all the other breeders did and take it on the back end.
Yeah.
They're gambling. They're getting it all on the front end, and they certainly did last year. We'll see if that trend continues this year also.
All right. Well, Anthony, we got one more video package of some of the yearlings selling tonight that we're keeping an eye on that we're going to go to here in just a second. But thanks so much for doing this. Best of luck here tonight. We'll catch up with you very, very soon, but we'll let you get your spot. And like we said, there'll be lots of fireworks tonight, but hoping to be involved in the festivities.
It would be nice, yeah.
All right. Let's go to that video package right now. If Curtis has got it queued up, he certainly does. Here it is.
I get it in my head that I want something, and that's a thing that you start to zero in on, and you have to try not to do that at the sales. It's odd because two of my top picks in the entire sale, the Trotter and the Pacer, are out right now at the same time, 30 feet apart. Number 70 right now, Bay on the Beach, is a horse that I like very, very much. This is always a Mickey's full brother. Always a Mickey, made 661. 22 wins, a mark of 50, timed in 48 flat. And this is also Ammo's brother. He's a Sweet Lou, so half brother to Ammo. He took a 2-year-old mark of 150 and 4, a 3-year-old mark of 49 and 2, and paced 47 and 4, $517,000 made. And then the full brother also, Maximus Mickey, made 262. A mark, paced in 148. The second dam, Nicholas Beach, trumped that. The third dam, Atokia. You can't go to any of the 3 dams on here without seeing a horse that has an immense amount of speed. Had it at 2, carried it for a long time, and made a ton of money. This is the type of horse I'd like to have. Number 70, Bay on the Beach. I'm not going to say my number 1 horse, but he's a horse that I would love to have. The first one I gravitated to at the sale catalog. The video is nice, and he looks every bit as good in person. Number 70, Bay on the Beach. Can you walk him down for me? Thanks.
Okay.
He's my favorite.
It's a good looker.
As the industry's leading sales agency, Preferred Equine recently introduced its exciting new online sales portal, Preferred Equine Online. Developed by our experienced sales team, the powerful new platform with cutting-edge technology makes buying and selling easy from the comfort of your home or office over any device. Our experienced sales team offers full customer service for buyers and sellers as it relates to the collection, distribution, and transfer of the horses offered. Sellers can enter a horse as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a searchable database while allowing comments, photos, and other documents. Buyers can view live pedigrees, past performances, and race videos. To create your account or learn more, visit www.preferredequine.com or call 914-773-7777.
Own a little and love it a lot. TheStable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. TheStable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at TheStable.ca.
All right, it's time for the 2024 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale to begin, and hip number 1 is now in the ring. We're here in the back ring where the horses are brought in 4 or 5 horses ahead of when they will go into the main ring. And big crowd, it's just packed back here. And this is where Anthony likes to set up, and I enjoy him here tonight. Hip number 1, though, was one that was certainly on the radar for Anthony and the team. This is Captain Wonderful, who many will know. This is the brother to Captain Incredible. And for Captain Wonderful, he's already up to $100,000. As you can see, I'm looking at Anthony, seeing if he's indicating anything just yet. And this one is bringing quite a big dollar. I think we had this one forecasted for, where is that right now? Is that up to 175, and it is a big colt by Captain Treacherous. Captain Treacherous continues to have a lot of success, including most recently sweeping the top positions in this year's Metro Pace. Bring Anthony in a second here. Let's bring you in right now. Anthony, we're doing this live. This is exactly what we were hoping for, but we're gonna have to wait a little bit before we get our first horse at this year's sale, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, this was a good-looking colt that we liked, and we were going to bid on him, but I didn't think he'd bring 200. I thought he'd bring 120, 110. We never got our hand up. So there are a number of horses. One coming up in a little while we're going to be looking at real close. But 200, I loved his brother. We love his brother. I think he's going to do great things for us, both in 2024 and after. But I can't possibly give 200 for him at that.
That makes sense, exactly that. So kind of first-hand experience for those of you that are tuning in, just how it goes here, and probably setting the tone for how busy of a night it's going to be, right? I mean, 200,000, or did it go for a little bit over that? 200. Yeah, 200 on the dot. It's going to be a very rich evening, isn't it?
It's going to be hard to take. You know, you never know with the first day. You come here and you're excited, and you're like, I'm going to buy this one, I'm going to buy that one. You get none. And every year, though, I will say this: at some point in this sale, there'll be 2 or 3 horses tonight where you'll look through the results tomorrow and say, how did that possibly happen? Those are the horses we want to own.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to it here. And again, nothing really slowing down on hip number 2 so far. So for those that are tuning in, and I don't know if anybody in this facility is tuning in, so we can maybe tip our hand a little bit, what should we be watching for next?
Number 7.
Number 7, there you go. So Cam, our cameraman, he's got me right here. Why don't we move around a little bit here, Cam? I'll let you kind of lead the way if you want. Maybe take folks around this side, Cam. Why don't you lead the way, and I'll do a little commentary behind you, mostly so that I can see exactly where I'm going too, as there's a lot going on. You got to watch out for the horses and everybody else that's back here. Well, Cam,
is going to just take us towards the back. I can hear producer Curtis in the back asking if Cam was going to make a stop at the bar, but no, we'll stay back here for the time being and let you just kind of get a look at the sights and sounds of the 2024 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. All right, as we mentioned, we're going to stick around for the first little bit of the sale. Hip number 3 is currently in the ring, and as Anthony mentioned, going to make a bid, or hope to make a bid, on hip number 7. That one's coming up in just a little bit, so we'll stick around till then, and we'll head back over there in just a couple of moments. But hip number 7, if you don't have your catalog in front of you, you can get it at the website for the sale. Just look up Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. But hip 7 is a Chapter 7 filly, New York, Kentucky, and Maryland eligible, so we talk a lot about dual eligible. This is actually triple eligible, and this is a Chapter 7 filly who is out of a Cantab Hall mare that she made it to the races, but she's really doing her best work now as a brood mare. This is going to be her 3rd foal, and the first 2 are both winners, including By Around, who is a Stakes and Grand Circuit winner, Sire Stakes and Grand Circuit winner, and On the House. So the first 2 foals were both fillies. The 3rd foal a filly as well. Both are proven. They're both black type winners, and then just a lot of success under the 2nd dam. She has been a really good broodmare in her own right. 11 foals, 7 winners, including Smoke and Mirrors, who was a standout filly in the Ontario Sire Stakes. So a good filly family, and we'll keep our eye for hip number 7 in just a little bit. So Cam, I think I'm also your eyes and ears a little bit here. So Curtis wants to know, maybe we can make our way around towards the front ring and maybe give folks a little peek at what goes on over there. We'll see if our connection holds up. Cam, maybe get some folks a little view here. All right, I think we got a connection with our audio once again. The video held up very well, so hopefully everybody tuning in who's never been to the Fasig-Tipton here in Lexington, getting a good opportunity to see exactly how things work and just how big this facility is. You can see it's a big crowd here on night number 1, especially in the main arena, where there really isn't a whole lot of empty seats. Just taking a quick look at the way here, there are not a lot of seats to be had. So a great turnout for the first night, and based on what we've seen from some of the early results, it's going to be a healthy opening night once again. We'll head back towards where Anthony and the crew are set up. Try and join them for hip number 7, and maybe we'll get one here. That would be just perfect timing if we could for the broadcast, and for those of you that are tuning in, don't forget we'll do this again tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. I think we're going to come on, or 11:30. 11 a.m. will be the start time, as we've got day number 2. And days 2, 3, and 4 will both kick off at 1 p.m. So a little earlier than they had been in the past. They moved to some afternoon sessions over the last few years. Now we're going to go even a little bit earlier.
Eligible. Brown Colt by Tactical Landing out of Mega Dolce by Cantab Hall. Tactical Landing by the sire Carl by the sire Blast 2 Hambletonian winners. The third foal of a stakes performing first dam. Second game British Championship of the Lady.
All right. So we did the full lap, and we're back where we started. As hip number 6 is currently in the ring, so hip number 7 is coming up next. I don't think we're putting any pressure on Anthony to really go above and beyond to get this one. He's going to stay within his means, but we'll see if this Chapter 7 filly does land with the stable. So hip number 6 still in the ring right now, and this one jumping up over 6 figures right now. 100,000 is up on the board. A New Jersey and Kentucky eligible colt. Tactical Landing, and Tactical Landing's had so much success in the last few seasons. Sire of the Hambletonian winner Carl, and there is a sibling to Carl, propulsion sibling that's going to sell a little bit later tonight, so that's one that'll certainly have many eyeballs on it. It's up over 150,000 now for hip number 6. And we weren't worried, Cam, about making it back for hip number 7, were we? We had lots of time to get it all the way around. This one they continue to chip away at, and it's not chipping away when you're up at a dollar amount like that. $175,000 right now is the current bid on this Tactical Landing colt. 185 now, so kind of like doing live commentary. Kind of like doing a little play-by-play, I guess you could say. And there's a good battle must be going on here. This one's just going back and forth. All right, 185. That was the final amount for hip number 6, and now it's time for hip number 7. So we'll focus in on Anthony and see if this Chapter 7 filly may come to the stable. Already up to 100,000, 125,000 right now for hip 7, this Chapter 7 filly. 200,000 already, so again, they're not messing around here, are they?
No, but truthfully, you're on day 1 Lexington with a day 1 Lexington pedigree and a day 1 Lexington filly. Am I shocked? No. But eventually, you know, it's almost like there's waves in these sales, and you have to wait. There'll be a horse drop into your lap that we'll get tonight, or two. Just certainly wasn't going to be this one. We get a couple more coming up that we like here soon. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, we'll check in again tomorrow with you because I guess we could wait all night, but we don't know how it's going to go. So for those,
it could take a while.
All right, Anthony. Best of luck, and shout out to Steve. Steve looked at me right before the horse ran in the ring and said 300. So 320, 325. Steve knows the stuff.
Yeah. No, listen. I'm not shocked at all. You know, you're always hopeful, and your dreams get crushed here pretty quick, almost as quick as the racetrack. But I'll tell you what, you just got to take your time. There's 117 horses tonight. There'll be some.
All right, still lots to work with. All right, so hip number 7, just before we sign off, 3:30, we're right up now up on the board. We're just waiting to see if that is the final bid. Looks like there's a bit of a stalemate right now. So for producer Curtis, we'll wrap this up here in just a second. He's back manning down the fort, which is just behind the outside walking ring here at Fasig-Tipton. 3:30 ends up being the final amount for hip number 7. All right, that's going to do it for our day 1 coverage of the 2024 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale. As we mentioned, we will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. So make sure you find us on YouTube, Facebook, as well. We'll be up then and ready to recap what will be an exciting night number 1 and get you set for day number 2. On behalf of Anthony, the entire crew, my name is Mark McKelvey. Have a great Monday night.
Own a little and love it a lot. TheStable.ca is an award-winning